VGC is supported by Patreon. Check out patreon.com/videogameschronicle for more podcasts, ad-free browsing, and extra content. Thank you for your support.
That's it. I mean, like I feel like I have to put a pin in that. Final Fantasy VIII is never going to be remade.
Hello and welcome back to VGC for our now annual, every 2 years, every 10 years, sit down and chat with Mr. Ben Starr. How you doing?
Really good. I feel like this is, I think it was maybe Variety or the Hollywood Reporter did a thing with Billie Eilish.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, it's I feel like this is it. It's like we should watch back my last interview with you, which was about Expedition 33, and I couldn't say what I was playing in the game.
It certainly seems that you're getting to live all of the dreams that we talked about back in the day. I mean, you're in fucking Final Fantasy Tactics. That's pretty cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I haven't really taken stock of that because it happened at a time that I was doing a lot of things and I was quite busy and I didn't really think about it. And I went, yeah, sure, I'll do this. I'll do Tactics. And now I'm in Tactics. and it hasn't really processed. And it wasn't until they showed the trailer at the PlayStation State of Play I went, oh my God, I'm in this game. It's been a mad thing that when I'm recording something, it feels so private for me, and then it happens and it's out into the world and you realize how much it means to people, specifically this game. And it's been so lovely to see a lot of people who've been a fan of this game and wanting this for such a long time, and now they get to have this in a beautiful, it's not doing too much to the game, but it is certainly making it play like how you thought it played at the time.
I wanted to ask because it would have been easy for you after doing the Final Fantasy 14, 16, Jesus stuff, and 14.
And 14,
and being so front and center of it to be like, I don't want to just be the Final Fantasy guy forever. I want to like completely kind of divest myself of that. But you seem to have struck a balance between being Mr. Final Fantasy and in loads of other stuff. Like, is that conscious effort? Is that just good fortune? Like, how have you managed that?
It's a combination of both. I don't want to be a person that takes advantage of a franchise and then goes, great, I'm done with it. And I'll never be done with it because Final Fantasy is so much a part of who I am as a person, not just as a performer. And it's the video game series that shaped who I am, so I'm never going to leave it behind. And also Square are really nice to me. They like me. I like them. We have a great relationship, and they've given me... I've kind of taken on this very weird role of being kind of a de facto ambassador for this, for this company, because lots of teams have gotten behind me and gone, well, we kind of like that Ben's a bit of a weirdo and a bit of an idiot, and I'm not going to disrespect this franchise because I love it so much, but also there is room, I think, in 2025 to be playful and to be silly, and I think they appreciate that, and they've seen how that resonates with fans, and I really like the fact that I get to do it at the same time as being other video games and get to move on from it in a way that still feels like I will always be so thankful that I was in Final Fantasy 16. None of this happens without Clive. None of this happens without the people who took a chance on me to be in that game. So I will never ever step away from it. And I don't talk about that. I'm like, most people might only ever know me as Clive. So that's cool.
Well, that would perhaps be the case before Expedition 33, which is, once again, you've locked into this massive game. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Since we couldn't talk about it last time, like, talk me through when you knew this was going to be something big. And obviously you've been hanging about, I met some of the cast the other night, and very nice folks. What is it like now that it's suddenly become this kind of monumental hit?
I always knew it was going to be special. I never thought it was going to be big. I always felt like it was going to have an incredibly passionate core audience because of the people who made it. They made it for themselves, essentially. And so they made it for people like them. And they knew that people like them would love it. And it just turns out that actually what they've done, because they put so much heart and soul into it, that people who wouldn't normally play this type of game are playing it. And that's it, really. It's taken on a life of its own, and I think every single person who's involved in this project is kind of like hanging on by the seat of their pants, really. It just keeps going, and it's a beautiful piece of art, and a piece of art that could only be experienced through the medium of video games, I think. There are moments in that game that I won't go into in case you haven't played it, that are a really great example of why video games are a great medium for storytelling. And it isn't there are beautiful games out there, but it's very rare that you have this kind of, it feels like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
This game came out around the time that people needed it to come out. If it had come out another time, maybe it wouldn't have hit in that same way, but it felt like it's resonating with people because it's speaking to an audience who are older, growing up. It speaks to people in their 30s, or it speaks to people who've experienced loss or grief, or who want to feel like they're 11 again, playing that first ever RPG in that world. It feels like there is so much love and respect in it, and the audience feel like they're respected, that it's resonating with people in that way.
And obviously it's not luck, like you're picking stuff specifically to do. Like that's kind of my next question.
Yeah.
Where you're at now, how are you picking projects? Presumably when you've been in a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
people want you in more stuff,
Yeah.
but you have to be kind of surgical with what you choose to invest so much of you into.
Yes, that is a really great question, and something that I'm tackling for better and for worse. I'm learning on the job. There are certain projects that I do because I would want to play them, and ultimately I am an actor who wants to make money. So working is great,
Yeah.
because it means that you make money, and I think anyone who says otherwise is a liar. But probably right now for me, a more important currency is time, and I don't have time to do everything. And I think as a younger actor, I would want to take on all these opportunities. And certainly in the first year that I was doing stuff, I thought I want to do everything. And now I have to say no to a lot of things that otherwise I would say yes to. And I don't want to upset people, because I'd love to do it, but I do have to be a lot more selective. And so now I'm looking for stuff that I feel is going to be, I've kind of set myself up for failure, really, because I've played some really cool characters, but like Hades 2 fell into my lap.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild. Hades is one of my favorite games of all time, and I get to be in that game. I'm very, very fortunate that like I get to be in stuff that people care about. And now I'm like, well, I've got to kind of do games that are as good as Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and Hades. You're like, oh, okay, that's sure. I'll just be a part of a load more generational games. And it's okay if I'm not, but also I've done some stuff. I want to do stuff that's different now. So I'm hopefully going to kind of stretch myself and do some stuff that isn't what you may have seen before.
Such as?
Let me break all of the NDAs that I currently have.
I suppose when you're an actor in video games, you're picking stuff that potentially people doesn't see for 3, 4, 5 years. Like,
Yes.
when you're looking at your next 5 years, is it a healthy mix of big blockbusters, smaller stuff like Clair Obscur, which is obviously very high production value,
Yes.
but is not a mainstream AAA game?
I don't really get to pick, but also as I do in some ways, yes. I'm here. I'm at SGF, or whatever you want to call it, the summer of gaming, and lots of actors come here, lots of actors don't. I've been very specific because I don't just want to be in games. I want to fill my time with stuff that is about the industry and within the industry. So, last year you'd see me host the Golden Joysticks, or like I've been doing stuff with Magic the Gathering, and I really enjoy being a personality within the space as well as being an actor. And so, like, for me, it's not just juggling what projects I want to do next. It's me juggling how I would like to interact with the industry at large, because I quite like being there. And the reason I probably feel omnipresent is not because I'm doing lots of games, it's but because I actually quite like being a front-facing ambassador for whatever it is that I'm working on at that moment, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for, as fans of games, people who can interact with us and tell us that what we love is worth loving, and I kind of like doing that, and I'll just kind of keep doing it in ways that feel fun and irreverent. The stuff that I did with Balatro, like there's other stuff coming up. I want to do silly stuff, really silly stuff. The other day we got the Clair Obscur Expedition 33 cast to dress up in the baguette outfits because it's silly, but it's also appreciating the art, but also understanding that fundamentally this game is successful because you can meme it in certain ways. There are aspects of that game that are like lure you into it because of their memeability, and understanding that power as a positive thing and not a thing that ridicules the medium, and I'm trying to strike a balance in that way.
They've announced tactics. It feels like they're running down the line of all the stuff that people are desperate to see. I'm not going to ask you about 8, but you think people would be very happy about that?
Yeah, but it isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, like I feel like I have to put a pin in that. Final Fantasy VIII is never going to be remade.
So we talked about this on the podcast when we did it from London, and we get comments on that every 2 days talking about the prospect of that game.
Yeah, I love the thought exercise because I think it's a really beloved game, and I love how many people come and say that. I just don't think it's ever going to be remade. I also don't think it needs to be.
Yeah,
I don't think it needs to be remade. I know. More people who love that game want people to play it in that spirit, but it doesn't matter. Like, you've got that love. We don't need to remake it. Let's make new stuff. Let's make new games that inspire people like Final Fantasy VIII did.
Final Fantasy 17. What about that?
Yeah,
that could be an idea.
Yeah, that'd be a great one.
Maybe 18 afterwards.
Yeah, maybe we just skip straight to 18.
How good is it going to be when we get to Final Fantasy 30 and it's Final Fantasy XXX?
Yeah, that's really.
I
good.
want to live to that moment, and then I'll die.
Yeah, and it will be starring the reanimated corpse of Vin Diesel.
Yeah. Nice. Well, on that delicate note, thank you very much for joining us. Shall we do this again next year? Where do you want to be on the planet for us to do the next one? We've done London, we've done Canada, we're now in LA.
It's really up to you.
Yeah.
There are other cities and there are other countries.
Have you been to Brazil?
I've not been to Brazil, no.
The as Gamescom Latam now, in Sao Paulo, very nice.
Have you been?
I went a couple of years ago. Very hot. They have nice cherry soda, and also they have games there, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I've noticed what you're drinking right now, Welch's Grape.
Yeah, Welch's Grape Ghost. You look too healthy to be an energy drink man, is that correct?
Yes, yeah. I know. That would destroy my body. That said, I did have a 5-hour energy drink.
Nice.
It was fucking disgusting, but I needed it to get through IGN Live. I needed it because I was jet lagged, I was ill, and I was about to go and do, the energy that's required to do an IGN Live is crazy because you are not just talking to people, there is a crowd in front of you, so it's entertaining a live crowd whilst also having to be kind of engaged, and also you can't hear because people are so loud. Ben! No one's shouting my name. No one cares.
Do you think they should do Expedition 34?
Yes, that's exactly how that works. Yeah. Thank you so much. Tell me you haven't played Expedition 33.
I have, but I don't want to give spoilers to people.
Of course, yeah.
The
next game will be Expedition 34.
I walk about my house going clear obscure because I don't know any of the words because I'm not French. I'm from Paisley. Do you know any French?
Yeah.
Go on then.
No, I'm not going to perform for you.
Patreon.com/VideoGamesChronicle for all future Ben Starr crossovers. If he ever returns to this website, I'm not sure why he would. Ben, I love you dearly. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Until next year.
Goodbye.
Bye.
VGC is supported by Patreon. Check out patreon.com/VideoGamesChronicle for more podcasts, ad-free browsing, and extra content. Thank you for your support.